Hello everyone, I would like to start with a simple question. If you were teaching English to a 6-year old child, would you begin by explaining grammar rules or would you choose a game or a song instead? So I believe most of us would just game or song because children learn differently from adults. They are naturally curious, active, and learn best when they are engaged in enjoyable and meaningful activities. That's why understanding how young learners learn is so important for every English teacher. So, my name is Wan, and today I would like to share my understanding of teaching English to young learners or TEYL. Let's begin. Before we explore the topic, let me give you a quick overview of my presentation today. First, I will briefly explain what the EYL is and why teaching young learners is different from teaching adults. And then I will discuss the four main principles of TEYL, followed by the approach, method, and technique commonly used in teaching English to young learners. And then I will explain how teachers can develop the four language skills through different learning activities. And also, I will talk about the use of games, song, and story in the classroom, as well as some current issue of the TEYL in Indonesia. And finally, I will share a simple classroom activity and conclude my presentation. So, what is teaching English to young learner or TYL? Is the process of teaching English to children between the age of 5 and 12 through activities that are appropriate for their age and development. Teaching the children is very different from teaching adults because children have a unique characteristic. They are curious, energetic, and enjoy exploring new things. They also love playing, moving, singing, and interacting with others. However, they usually have a shorter attention span, so teachers need to create lessons that are so fun, interactive, and meaningful. The main goal of the EY is not only to teach English vocabulary or grammar, but also to help children build confidence and develop positive attitude toward learning English from an early age. And now let's take a look at why teaching young learners is different from teaching older. Adults are generally able to learn through explanation, grammar rules, and independent study. They can stay focused for longer period and understand abstract concept more easily. But young learner learn a different way. They understanding language better when they can see, hear, move, and experience it. They also learn more naturally through interaction and also repetition rather than memorize. Because of these differences, teachers should create an active and supportive classroom where children feel comfortable using English. Instead of focusing too much on grammar, teachers should encourage children to communicate, explore, and enjoy the learning process. And there are four important principles that guide effective teaching for young learners. The first principle is implicit learning. This means children acquire language naturally without studying grammar rules directly. For example, when children sing action songs or listen to stories every day, they begin to understand new words and certain patterns naturally. That is implicit learning. The second is contextual learning. Children learn more effectively when English is connected to real life situation. For example, instead of simple memorizing forward vocabulary, a student can practice ordering food through a role play activity. This make learning more meaningful because they can imagine using English in everyday life. That is contextual learning. The third principle is learner centeredness. And this present In this principle, students become active participants in the learning process rather than listening to long explanation. They learn by asking questions, sharing ideas, working with friends, and participating in different classroom activities. And the last is meaningful learning. Children remember language better when it is connected to their own experience. The example is when asking students to introduce their family or talk about their favorite animal, help them relate English to something personal and familiar. Nah, so these four principles remind us that children learn best when learning is active, enjoyable, and also meaningful. Next to apply this principle, teacher can use different approach method and teaching technique. One important approach is communicative language teaching or CLT. This approach encourages students to use English for real communication instead of only memorizing the grammar. Nah, and another approach is the natural approach, which is learning through meaningful exposure in a relaxed and low stress environment. Teachers can also teachers can also use a play-based approach where children learn while playing, exploring, and interacting with others. Since play is naturally part of children's life, it makes learning more enjoyable and effective. For the teaching method, we can use total physical response or TPR as one of the most popular method in TEYL. In this method, students respond to teacher instruction with physical movement. This helps children understanding and remember language more easily. Another useful method is the task-based learning, where students learn English while completing meaningful tasks, such as creating posters, solving simple problems, or working on a project together. To support this approach and method, teacher can use various techniques, including games, storytelling, song, flashcard, role play, and a picture books. This technique may listen more interactive and help children stay motivated through the learning process. And then in TEYL, teachers should help children develop all four language skills. That is start from the listening. Teacher can use song storytelling, simple classroom instruction, and short videos resources like British Council, Learn English Kids, and Storyline Online for many engaging listening materials. And also for speaking, activities such as a role play, spare week, and show and tell encourage children to communicate confidently. Interactive platform like a Wordwoo and Bamboozle can make speaking practice more fun. And then in the reading, we can use picture books, flashcard, and share a reading activity help children improve their vocabulary and comprehension. Teachers can also use websites like Oxford Owl and Starfall, which provide pre-reading materials designed for young learners. And the last for writing. Uh, Student can begin with tracking letters, labeling picture, and writing simple sentence before moving on to guide writing activities. Teachers can also use live worksheet and Canvas to make writing activities more creative and interactive. By choosing appropriate activities and digital research, teacher can support children language development in engaging and meaningful way. And yeah, game, song, and stories are some of the most effective teaching technique for young learners. Song help children improve pronunciation. Stories are equally valuable because they develop children's imagination. Improve listening comprehension, introduce new vocabulary. When these three techniques are combined, English learning become more enjoyable, interactive, and meaningful for young learners. Also, CYL has many advantages. There are still several challenges in Indonesia. Some challenges are related to the curriculum, teacher preparation, learning research, and classroom condition, and also student themselves. For example, Curriculum change may affect how English is taught in a school. Some teachers also have limited opportunities to receive professional training in teaching young learners. In addition, not every school has adequate learning resource or classroom facilities. Teachers may also have different learning face challenges such as large class size and limited instructional time. And in the end, students have different learning background, confidence level, and also motivation. So teachers need to be flexible and creative in meeting their needs. Even when with this challenge, effective TEYL is still possible when teachers continue to adapt and create engaging learning experience for their students. So yeah, now I would like to share a simple example of a classroom activity called Guess the Animal. In this activity, the teacher can give several clues about animal and student listen carefully before guessing the correct answer. After that, student limited the animal movement and say its name in English. Although this activity looks simple, it develops listening and speaking skill while giving children activity involved. It also applied the 40-way principle that we discussed earlier. Students learn English naturally through interaction also, and then connect the lesson to familiar animal. This example showed that learning English can be both education and enjoyable. So yeah, to conclude, teaching English to young learners is much more than the teaching vocabulary and grammar. It is about understanding how children learn and creating a classroom where they are feel confident, motivated, and also excited to use English. By applying the principle of the EYI, choosing appropriate approach and method, and using engaging techniques such as games, song, and story, a teacher can create meaningful learning experience that support children language development. Although there are still challenges in Indonesia, I believe that create patient and well-prepared teachers make positive difference in children English learning journey. So thank you for your attention. Have a wonderful day, and I'm happy to and have a good day also. Thank you very much for me, and see you.